Hey guys, I am back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about some DCU updates regarding the Brave and the Bold. But before we get started, guys, please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. Alright, so there's been some recent news going around Brave and the Bold that Eddie Machete and James Gunn has talked about. I'm going to start with James Gunn. So, James Gunn, I think, was like on a podcast talking about Brave and the Bold and what's going on. He's talked about the script and he said that the script was really good, and that's a good sign. There's been some updates telling that Batman, regarding Batman, they have found a really good story for Batman. That's really good to hear. I really want this DCU Batman to be kind of like this DCU Superman. Now, not in a way where like they're the same. I'm talking about in a way where they're kind of ripped out of the comics. They're done well. Their adaptations were are done well, and that's what I kind of am excited to see for Brave and the Bold is really Batman, to see their adaptation of Batman in the DCU. Um, so hearing that James Gunn really likes the story behind Batman is really good to hear. So that's it. And he did say that the story is still in flux, meaning like they're not done with the script, but it is doing really good. The script is going really well. It's just that they're not done with the script yet, which I'm very okay with. We actually got an update where James Gunn has talked about like because there have been some people kept saying that Brave and the Bold will come out in 2030 or 2031, and a guy asked James, "Is that going to happen?" And James Gunn said no. So that tells me that Brave and the Bold will come out before 2030. Um, so that means Brave and the Bold will either come out in 2029 or 2028. Now, I actually think 2029, just because I think you should keep the Batman and the DCU Batman away from each other, even though sure they're like a year away. I think it's just going to be kind of difficult for both movies. Like you got Man of Tomorrow in production, all those movies in production, and I think you should keep the Batman and the Batman and the DCU Batman like two just away from each other. And again, the reason also why 2028, it just feels like the script is just still not done. And then they gotta get casting and production, so I think they need a lot more time. And I think 2028 is a bit sooner, but I don't know. I hope it's gonna come out in 2028. Um, but it's either 2029 or 2028. So that means possibly that production for Brave and the Bold could happen either in 2027 or maybe late 2026. So it's either one of those two. Um, and continuing on with James Gunn talking about it, he has talked about the suit. And James Gunn has said that the suit doesn't matter. What matters is the character. And I can actually agree on that. That the character and the development matters. Um, but I also think that the suit also matters. I think you want Batman to have a great suit to be memorable. Um, and he has talked about, will Batman have white eyes? Will Batman have underwear? I hope the DCU Batman gets to have white eyes because we just never got that in live action. We got that in animated form, but we just never got that in live action. So hopefully James Gunn can pull it off. Like just do it maybe like Deadpool wise or Wolverine wise, where they have the white eyes and it works perfectly. Or maybe it's like in Detective Vision, like in the Arkham games. You could do that too. But regarding the underwear, I actually hope they don't do the underwear. And the reason behind that is that Superman has a reason to having underwear outside of his suit. He has a reason. The reason is he's literally an alien. He came, you know, he came from a different planet. He's stronger, more powerful than everyone else on the planet. People will be afraid of him. So he needs to find a way for people to not be afraid of him. And having trunks outside of your pants will be like people will be like, yeah, this guy is not scary. Okay, he has trunks outside of his pants. That doesn't scare me. That's just silly. But Batman is different. He wants to put the fear in criminals. And the fear in criminals. The fear that he fears is like bats. And if he has trunks outside of his pants, then it just people villains won't be scared of him. Like in Batman Arkham City, when you play as Batman, he's actually less scarier than in Arkham Knight. Heck, even in Arkham Origins and Arkham Asylum, because he had trunks outside of his pants. You weren't scared of him. And the purpose of Batman and his suit is to put fear in criminals' hearts. And just having trunks outside of his pants just doesn't make sense for the character. He just doesn't have a reason. So I hope the DC Batman does not have underwear outside of his pants. It just doesn't make sense, in my opinion, for his character to have that. Now in comics, it's just you know they just do that, and I can you can let it slide for comics because they always had that where Batman has underwear outside of his pants. But when it comes to like movies and stuff, it just the audience just is like, why does he have underwear outside of his pants? That doesn't make sense for the character. Even in comics, it still kind of doesn't make sense for the character why he has underwear outside of his pants. Because again, Superman has a reason. It's just Batman doesn't have a reason, and I think it feels like you need a reason to have underwear outside your pants to be able, for to be able to make sense for the character. But moving on for that, we have again got some recent news going around for Brave and the Bold uh, that James Gunn said, and he said that when they announced the DCU projects like Authorities, Waller, and including Brave and the Bold, there has been significant changes into the script since the announcement. So, you know, announcement the announcement, James Gunn was like, it's Batman is already established Batman. He already has the Bat family. He is at Damien right now. So, is it possible that they had changed that? Maybe instead of Damien, it's Tim. Or maybe they just changed it completely and did it to where it's Dick. Dick Grayson. Um, in the DCU. Like Batman's probably in like his year 3 or 4, or maybe 2 or 3. Um, which I don't see that happening just because you already have a Batman, the Batman movie that Batman is in his year 2, uh, almost in his year 3, and around that he's finna get Dick Grayson's Robin. So it wouldn't make sense for both the Batman in the Matt Reeves universe and the DCU Batman in James Gunn's universe to just have the same Robin at the same time, you know, because we're already going to see it from Matt Reeves Batman. So I think Damien is probably going to stay. I just think for the storyline or maybe a different villain, because maybe James Gunn had a different villain in mind when he announced The Brave and the Bold. But for significant changes, the way James Gunn pronounced it, it sounds like they had changed a lot of stuff. Um, and I think a lot of people are speculating that one of those changes was Damian Wayne's Robin. Maybe they changed that to Dick Grayson or Tim Drake. I kind of hope it stays as Damien, but if they change it to Tim, I actually wouldn't be mad because I actually like Tim. I like Tim Drake's Robin. I think he's actually an interesting character, and I actually want to see a little bit more of him. Because it felt like Tim Drake just hasn't been getting the spotlight, not in comics, but really just like live action. Sometimes even in animation. And I wish I really do want to see more of Tim Drake. So if they like change it instead of Damian Wayne is actually Tim Drake, I wouldn't be mad because I like Tim Drake as a character. Um, but Brave and the Bold, the script, it sounds like they're doing really good with the script. Um, and I have made a video in the past, like one of my second videos, talking about why James Gunn shouldn't direct Brave and the Bold. You know, I've gave my thoughts on that, and I kind of gave my thoughts also what I want to see for Brave and the Bold. I want to see more of a fantastical Batman. I want to see a Batman who is different from Matt Reeves, a Batman that we haven't seen before. And it sounds like that. Um, they're doing that. It sounds like they're doing it to where like this is a Batman that we've never seen before. Uh, you know, uh, News for Matt Reeves Batman was that for the part 2, the villain is a villain that y'all have that we have never seen before, for any Batman movie is that the villain will be different. So hopefully they could also do that for Brave and the Bold when a villain for Brave and the Bold that we have never seen before in any Batman movie. Maybe it could be Deathstroke. Maybe it could be Bane, even though we have seen Bane in live action. I don't know what they could do. Um, but they also have that Deathstroke and Bane movie coming out, so I don't know what they're going to do with that. Or maybe Deathstroke and Bane probably could connect to Brave and the Bold, but I don't know what is going on with Deathstroke and Bane. Hopefully, they could give us some updates on that. But and then now talking about Eddie Machete, he was they were the interviewers were asking him all about Brave and the Bold, and he just said that he can't talk about it in the next, I don't know, 2 months or three or in several months. He can't talk about Brave and the Bold until several months. So that means we're gonna get some news surrounding Brave and the Bold in a couple of months. Um, and it makes you think like, why can't he just talk about it now? Why does he have to wait a couple of months? I think there's something big. I think there's something going to be big happening in a couple of months. I think that I don't know. Maybe they cast their Batman. Um, Maybe they're probably going to finish the script in a couple of months. I think that's actually probably a good assumption. I know, just because he just said I can't talk about it in a couple of months. Why? Maybe because the script is actually probably almost completed because they've been working on the script for about what 5 months, almost a year. I'm actually expecting for the script to be almost finished, and that's what Eddie Machete probably could be meaning when he said that he can't talk about it in a couple of months. Because maybe the script will be finished in a couple of months. Because they already know what they're gonna do with Batman. Um, and I don't know what they're kind of going to do with Batman. Because James Gunn actually have gave us some updates surrounding like the age. Like Batman won't be. He'll be probably like, um, he probably won't be 40 or 41. He'll probably be around his 38, 39s. Um, but Batman probably won't be in his 40s. I don't think he'll be that older than Superman. Um, So I think Batman will be around in his 38s, probably be 38, 37, 39 possibly. Um, so, you know, they already figured out their Batman. They probably already even know his age and what the kind of Bat family they want for the DCU. So it sounds like the script is kind of almost done. So I think that Brave and the Bold, like James Gunn kind of said, will come out sooner than later because James Gunn already said that Brave and the Bold will not come out in 2030 or 2031 or 2032 or whatever dates. It will come out before 2030, meaning it will either come out in 2028 or 2029, which I'm probably expecting to come out in 2029, but I hopefully it could come out in 2028. But the way they're kind of describing the script and telling us all these details and what's going on and how significant changes has the script been going, um, I actually think that Brave and the Bold, the script could possibly be almost finished. Just because surrounding the updates that we have been getting, because it felt like we've been getting more Brave and the Bold updates than Wonder Woman updates. Because they did say that they are fast tracking Wonder Woman, but we have not heard anything about it. So I think Brave and the Bold is actually going to be. I think it's going to be come out sooner than later. Maybe it's actually possibly going to come out in 2028. Because you got Dynamic Duos coming out 2028. If that's even DCU related, if that's even DCU canon, because James Gunn surrounding Dynamic Duos, we don't know if it's we don't know if it's in the DCU or if it's Elseworld. But but guys, it sounds like Brave and the Bold is doing really well. I was scared for Brave and the Bold for a second because Brave and the Bold, it just we haven't barely gotten any updates before, but now we're just getting so many updates to a point where I'm actually assuming that Brave and the Bold is almost completed, and that the script is almost finished, and that they're finna cast, or if they probably already cast their new Batman actor. Um, but guys, that is my thought on. Those are my thoughts on Brave and the Bold. What do y'all guys think? Do you think that Batman should have white eyes? Do you think he should have underwear outside of his pants? What do you think of these Brave and the Bold updates? Do you think that it's possible that the script is almost finished? Are you excited for Brave and the Bold, or are you not? But guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you for the subscribe. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you, 41 subscribers, guys. Thank you very much. Let's try to get to 50. Um, that's my goal. That's one of my goals. By the end of this year, to probably just get to 50 subscribers, or at least 100 by the end of this year. But guys, I really appreciate the support. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the likes. And I'll see you guys later.